Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Mazda MX5 Miata and the 2025 BMW Z4. Now in today's review, the BMW new for new is going to cost significantly more. So if you're looking for basically a half-priced BMW Z4, you can get into a Mazda Miata. So let's start off with those MSRPs. For the Mazda, they start right around $29,000 and can go up to $42,000 just depending on the trim level. Now for the Z4, which I have been able to film for 2025, they start around $55,000 for the S-Drive 30i and can go up to $70,000 for the M40. Now the M40 is the only model to offer the manual transmission. So the model in front of us for the Miata has the manual transmission. So if you want to compare this to the Z4, you have to go with the 40i. So let's go over both of these vehicles and see what they have to offer. Now this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It pumps out 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 3,500-pound convertible from 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 13.7 gallons. You'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon in the city, 29 out on the highway. Now this is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. This model here is paired to the 6-speed manual transmission, and it pumps out 181 horsepower, 151 pound-feet of torque. That power sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 2,400-pound convertible from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 140 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 11.9 gallons. You'll expect to see 26 miles per gallon in the city, 34 out on the highway. Now as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice up front that we still have that kidney grille design, but it's very narrow and wide. So it gives it a great front end appearance. The surround is finished off in black to match the vehicle, and then there's plenty of cutouts to provide additional cooling. Now this is also equipped with LEDs up front, so the headlight housings have all of those with a really nice dark design. And then in the lower section, you'll notice there's parking sensors and a lot more inlets, including the lower section of that grille to provide even more cooling. There's really nice edges throughout the entire front end. And then you'll notice up on the hood, there's bulges on both sides with the 2 lines on both sides there just to give it a really nice look. Now as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice up front that there's a gloss black trim accent in the upper section of the grille, along with cutouts in the lower section. There's also some nice trim accents on both sides of the bumper there, and then this is also equipped with LEDs for the lighting. Very small headlight housing with a dark inner housing to them, which looks nice. And then there's a few lines coming down the hood, along with some bulges in that front fender arch there, just to give it a great look. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a 2-tone design for these wheels, and then there's also the red M Sport brakes. This is also equipped with the body-colored side mirrors that have the turn signal on them. And then with the top back up, you'll notice that the Z4 does have a soft top. You can actually remotely control this. So if I push on the unlock button and hold it, you can actually lower not only the windows, but you can lower the entire top as well. So we can get a look at how this is going to operate and how quickly it folds down and latches into place. You will also notice a chime indicating that the process has been completed. Now, if you push on the lock button and hold it, you can actually put this back up. So you don't even have to get into your vehicle depending on the situation that you were in. So if it's really hot out and you want to put everything down, or maybe you forgot to do it and you don't want to hop back in the vehicle, it is a really cool process to be able to quickly do. There's also some really nice lines running off of the trim accent that's just behind the front tire. So you'll notice the edges right there, and then the lines that come off of that and split around that door handle. Now this model also has a 2-tone design for these wheels, and you'll notice just behind the wheel is the turn signal. So it's not mounted on the side mirrors, but the mirrors are body colored, and then you'll notice there's a small trim accent in that lower side skirt. Now this model here has the soft top, so it is manual, but I think it looks great with the top down. Obviously, if you're buying this, you want to ride with the top down all the time. Where this has a nice set of LEDs for the taillights and all of the lighting there. There's also the third brake light that's tucked up underneath this ducktail portion of the trunk lid, which is a really nice integration. Now there's the backup camera, there's parking sensors, and then there's the dual exhaust, the reverse light right in the middle, and then some fins in the lower section there, just to give it a really nice design. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, this does not have a power trunk, but you can easily open this up where you have quite a lot of space. Now for a convertible, this is about what you would expect. There's no storage underneath the floor, but there's some tie downs there. You do have a small cutout there, so you could gain access if you needed to. But with the top down, it doesn't hinder any of your trunk space. So it just folds up nicely right at the top there. So for a convertible, it's pretty practical with the amount of space that you do get. Now this also has LEDs for the lighting in back. There is a backup camera, and then the dual exhaust is on that passenger side. Now, in order to gain access to the trunk, you can use the button on the key fob or this hidden button over on the right side to release it. Now, being a convertible in a very small vehicle, this is everything that I have with me for the day. I also went grocery shopping with this, and I was able to fit in a few bags as well. So it's not the largest, but it's definitely doable, especially for the smaller size that this is. Now, as we work our way to the interior, this has a really nice leather design. There's the two-tone for the door panel with the black and this brown. There's all the brushed aluminum accents. There's memory seats, your window adjustments, side mirror controls, lock and unlock. And then there is a trunk release down in the lower section with a little bit of storage there. And then M40i is down on the door sill, and there's a very nice set of seats. There's a cutout in that upper section there. They are automatic with the one exception for the leg support, which is a manual adjustment. Now, if we take a look behind the seats, you do have a small storage shelf. There's also this net here, so you could place some jackets or smaller items if you needed to. And then this is that cutout, so you do have to open up both doors. You could maybe put some items in between them there if you wanted to store some out of the way. And then it looks like there's some speakers too on the back section there. And then as we hop in, we are greeted with a really nice steering wheel. It's finished off in leather. You'll notice all the brushed aluminum accents. It's even a heated steering wheel too. Cruise control settings are on the left. Right side, you get volume tuning, Bluetooth, and the voice commands there. But let's fire this up. So we'll put it into neutral, and we can bring this M40i to life. Now this also has this button here that you can use to lock and unlock this vehicle. And the interior has this beige color. You'll notice this carbon fiber-like trim accents surrounding the window controls, lock and unlock, along with your mirror adjustments. And then this has manually adjusting seats. There's also Bose for the audio system. And then there's a small door sill right there. It's not all that hard to enter, but it's definitely a small vehicle. Now this has a leather wrapped steering wheel. On the left side you have volume, you also have tuning, there's Bluetooth and voice commands, and then cruise control settings on the right. Now with my foot on the brake and the clutch, we can fire this up, take a listen to how this sounds. And as we come back to the digital gauge cluster now, you'll see on the left side there's your fuel, miles per hour, there's also the time, and then on the right side there's the tach, engine temperature, outside temperature, what gear the vehicle is currently in, and then you have some information within that tach. So over on the turn signal stalk, you can push on that upper button there, and that's how you can toggle between all this information. So you have live readouts for your horsepower and torque, you have G-force meters, you can pull up your audio, you can look at how the vehicle is set up. So it's currently in comfort mode, it's currently in neutral as well. You have a live readout for your MPG, and then we're back to this screen here. So you have a little bit that you can go through, which is nice. Now over on this left side, you have all of your headlight adjustments with a dimmer switch. There's a little bit of storage, so you could place maybe sunglasses or your phone or something down there. There's also ambient lighting. It's on the lower section of that brushed aluminum accent. There's also a head-up display, so it has miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then for the infotainment system, you have a lot that you can go through. So if we go into the home icon, you have these widgets here that you can scroll through, just depending on what you'd like to see. And then you also have shortcuts over on this left side. You can pull up the nav in full screen. You can even get into car and go through a lot more. So you have driving information. You can go into your sport displays to monitor all of that if you would like to. You can go into your vehicle status. You also have various settings you can go into as well. So you have sport and eco that you can get into and customize. You have your lighting, climate adjustments, interior lighting, all of that. There's your carrying car as well as driver profiles. And then you can also get into Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and several other icons just depending on what you would like to see. Now, as you saw, I was using the rotary dial down below, so you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. You have all these shortcuts where you can get through all this information as needed. It's a really nice system to use. Now, underneath that, you'll notice more interior lighting with the brushed aluminum trim accent. There's also a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So you can pull all of these up and customize them as you would like to. And then underneath that, there's a small LCD screen for the climates. So you have your temperatures, fan speed, where you'd like the air to go. This is even equipped with heated seats. So you have those adjustments on both sides, as well as defrosters, some other AC adjustments. Now there's volume, you have all of your presets and tuning. There's also wireless charging, along with some auxiliaries and storage. And then looking at the 6-speed manual transmission, if you push it all the way to the left and up, that is for reverse, where you have the backup camera. There's also automatic parking, as well as the backup assistance, which is helpful to have. And then we have the rest of the 6 gears to go through, of course. Now over on this left side, there's parking sensors, along with the engine start-stop. And then you have a few different driving modes. So you can get into sport mode. You also have comfort, and then eco. And eco and sport have a few different settings that you can configure as you would like. Now there's also the e-brake with your auto hold. And then if we push on this button, we have the split design for the armrest. It also reveals 2 cup holders. You get a little bit of storage and an auxiliary in the back there. And then there's also storage in the glove box. And then you'll notice too down below, we have the adjustment for the top. So if I just pull this in the up direction, it is quickly going to latch into place. You'll hear the mechanism lock there, and then it will raise the windows as well. So just like that, we have the top up. You have garage door buttons up top along with the rear view, and then there's some dome lights up top. But now that we have the top up, this is a look at visibility. You have a pretty large window right there, a little bit of a pillar there, but you can look out of that window or your side view mirror, of course. And then over this left shoulder, a little bit of a pillar, but if you just lean over, you can easily see out. And then with the top down, of course, you pretty much have no blind spots. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll notice on the right side, there's miles per hour. Right in the middle is the tach. You will also be able to see what gear you're in this lower section here. So while you're driving, of course, you can see that. And then on the far left, there's your fuel, your miles till empty. You also have the outside temperature and engine temperature too. That is about it that you get, but that's all the information that you need for a sporty vehicle like this. Now you also have some traction control adjustments. You have automatic headlights. There's also a sensor for the parking system, and then you have a trunk release in the lower section. There's one air vent. And then working our way to the infotainment system, this is a bit interesting because it's not a touchscreen system for all of the normal Mazda adjustments. So to go through all of this, you need to use the controls down below. So there's a rotary dial and a few shortcuts above that. So you can use that, of course, to get into all of this information. However, this model does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if I bump down for that, I do currently have my phone paired to this system where I can actually use it now as a touchscreen system. When you're driving, there are some settings where this won't be a touch screen, so you will have to use the rotary dial to further go through this. But it is interesting that it can be a touchscreen system with your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but when you go back into the Mazda settings, it is now not a touchscreen. It still gives you everything that you need though, just interesting to see that. It's a large screen too for this small interior, but it's easy to read. You have one air vent underneath that, and then all of your climate adjustments are laid out very nicely with your fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, temperature as well. Now this also has heated seats. You get some storage down below where you can place your phone along with some auxiliaries on that one side. And then pushing the shifter down to the left and up will bring up that backup camera where you have some guidelines as well. There's also the manual e-brake to the right of that. And then you do get a little bit of storage in the armrest, and you have 3 areas you can place these cup holders. I currently have one in the back and one right here. So you can actually just pull these out and place them either there or right in the middle. And then behind that, you have a locking glove box. There is no storage over on the passenger side, so that is what you get there. You do get garage door buttons with the rear view mirror there, and then this is the release for the soft top. So just pull on that, you can grab on one of the grab handles and then lock this into place and you are ready to go. And then of course put the windows up. So with it up, you might be able to use that for a little bit of storage if you want to throw some items back there. And then here's a look at visibility. It's honestly been pretty easy to see. Even with this pillar here, you can use your side mirror and then almost look out of the back window slightly. So for its smaller size, it's pretty easy to see. And we're still in sport mode, second gear. Here we go. And just a mild acceleration. Again, very smooth. So I do like the feedback that the shifter has. It is still just a little bit interesting to see how the Toyota Supra collaboration with BMW, they do have different feels. But it's fairly nice. It's easy to rev match too. I believe that it does have built-in rev matching as well. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the BMW Z4. Definitely a nice option to go with. It's not too confined on the interior. There's definitely a lot of storage space, and with that convertible, you still have the trunk too. So you can have a really nice daily driving, luxury focused convertible that offers you quite a lot. You can also get the xDrive 30, which is going to have a smaller engine, and you get the automatic transmission in that. So if you like the manual transmission, the M40i is the option to go with. However, you can also get an automatic with the M40i. So if you don't get that hand schlotter package, you can get the paddle shifters with it. But it's definitely a nice vehicle to drive. Feels very comfortable, very confined, very well refined as well. And it just feels like, it kind of feels like you're in the Supra a little bit. And just a nice BMW to drive. So we're not doing any performance driving today, but if you want to see kind of how maybe it would perform, we have some Supra content that you can check out. Maybe we'll be able to get a press Z4 at some point to do some more performance driving, but I'm sure this is going to handle well. It does weigh a little bit more, being the convertible, but it's definitely a nice vehicle to drive. And so while we are still in second gear, it is time to have a little bit of fun on this road. It's a little bit of a bumpy road, but we have some great turns to really show the handling that you get with this vehicle. It's up there with being one of the greatest handling vehicles just because of its weight. I mean, you can just accelerate through turns, and if you do it right, while we don't have a lot of power, just by carrying your weight, this can be a very fun and quick vehicle to drive. Now, it doesn't have any rev matching, so I have been doing that myself. And I probably don't have to shift as much as I'm doing because redline is over 7,000. So I mean, you could really ring this out. And I'm having just as much fun as my R8 or other vehicles like that that I've driven on this road here, just because you can actually use all of the power, and it's a phenomenal vehicle to drive. So as far as the performance and the driving that you get with this car, I have zero complaints. My only complaint is how small it is, and it's just depending on what you're looking for out of a car. You know, this could be perfect for you. It is too small for my needs and what I like, but there's no arguing how fun this car is to drive in situations like this. It's also something that could be easy to get the tail end out, especially in some wet conditions, just because it's a light car, so you could do some driving like that. It's pretty easy to whip around from other experiences that I've heard from friends, but it's definitely a fun vehicle for the performance and those aspects. And so coming back to our final thoughts between the Mazda Miata and the BMW Z4, obviously you are going to be spending quite a lot more for the BMW. However, on the used market, they have dipped a good bit. So just depending on if you want to go new, you can also find a used one for close to, it's going to be a couple years older, however, and you won't get that manual transmission. So 2025 was the first model year the Z4 offered a manual transmission. I guess you could also throw in the Toyota Supra there if you wanted something closer to $50,000 with that manual transmission, and of course getting a brand new vehicle versus the Z4. So you kind of have its brother there with the Toyota version, but with the Mazda Miata and the BMW Z4, you get a lot more refinements, of course, with the BMW, but you're also going to get a heck of a lot of fun with this vehicle too for around the $30,000 mark. And of course, you can get these for much less on the used market as well. So comment down below, would you rather go with some trim level in whatever year for the Mazda Miata, or would you rather step up to the BMW / the Toyota Supra? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.